Hey y'all, it's Dolly Parton here. Nashville, are you ready to take notes? Woo! Well, go ahead and get your notebooks out because we're going to take notes on a little lady called Haiku. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Haiku, 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 haiku. A poem comprised of only 3 short lines. Haiku, 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 haiku. Simplicity and discipline refined. The first line has 5 syllables, the second 7, that's no bull. The third is 5 again, and now it's full. The poem has Kigo Kirigi, a Kigo's nature imagery, a reference to a season or like a tree. Haiku, 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 haiku. A poem comprised of only 3 short lines. Haiku, 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 haiku. Simplicity and discipline refined. And Kirigi means cutting word. I know it kinda sounds absurd. It's contrasting the first line and the third. You see within the final line, the Kirigi is what you'll find to build a contrast that will blow your mind. Wow, thank you, Dolly Parton, for defining haiku for us and setting up their conventions. That's right, 3 lines, 5, 7, 5 syllable structure, focused on a nature image and a cutting word or a contrast. See, haiku tend to look at 2 poems, haiku tend to look at 2 images that are contrasted. No better example than in one of the ones I'm having you read tonight, this first Matsuo Basho poem, so the top haiku on this page. Pitifully, under a great soldier's empty helmet, a cricket sings. So, we see here our Kirigi, or our contrast, our second contrasting image that works against the first image to create some kind of meaning or to, point toward larger meaning. Pitifully, under a great soldier's empty helmet. So we know it's a sad place, an empty place. We know it's a soldier's empty helmet. We can assume that maybe this is in what was a former battlefield, right? This is obviously a dead soldier, and a cricket is singing under it. So that contrast is great. The cricket provides this counterpoint, like out of all this death, there's still this life, this idea of regeneration and then coming back. This poem here also has a bit of that kind of nature to it, those themes. Okay, I'm going to go quickly with these in the interest of time. I know these have been running a little long, so I'm not even going to have us do tanka today. Like that was the other poem type we were going to go over, but let's slow down a little. I need to give you guys some room to breathe. Next, Yosa Busan. This is also a haiku poet, well-known haiku poet. I'm only going to talk about this very last one. You guys have to read all the haiku tonight, but I'm just going to quickly go over a few that I think are very illustrative of some haiku concepts. So this one here also presents 2 images, and it sort of has us think about those 2 images. This is a great example of Kirigi. By the way, you'll notice the syllables in these are all out of whack. That's because they're in translation, and we've discussed the difficulties of translation before. You got to lose something, and often syllable structure just goes. So here we've got, it cried 3 times, the deer, then silence, right? That is a great example of Kirigi, the concept that was gone over by Dolly Parton in the note-taking segment. Excuse me. Kirigi is that contrast between the last line and the first 2 lines. In Japanese, it's not quite the same. There are like literal words that divide the haiku, but we don't have that in English, so contrast is the best definition I have for you. So it cried 3 times the deer. I think of it as like a newborn foal or maybe a deer that's in pain or something, and of course then silence implies that deer is no more. This is Kobayashi Isa, another haiku poet that I just enjoy because I find his poems kind of adorable. This one in particular. Asked how old he was, the boy in the new kimono stretched out all 5 fingers. Right? Can't you just picture that little scene and feel the emotion of that, like, adorable moment where you ask a very young kid how old they are, and they're like this many because they don't numbers are difficult for them already. It's just I enjoy that image and its use there. So it's much brighter than it cried 3 times the deer than silence, I think. So tonight I want you to answer all 3 of these. Actually, now just answer the first 2 questions. I was going to have you answer the third, but we can actually do that in Zoom class on Monday. Hooray! Or whatever the first day we meet is. So yeah, which of these haiku do you think is the most powerful, and explain? I need a decent explanation. Listen, if you didn't find any one of them particularly like, whoa, my mind exploded, like, it's fine. But do try to focus on one that at least presents an interesting contrast and discuss what makes that contrast interesting. What impressions of nature do the 3 haiku poets seem to share? So maybe some things that these haiku have in common. And if you can, try to cite a little bit, some lines from some of those poems if you could. All right. Here's some more modern writer, Richard Wright. He was writing novels in the 20s. He was primarily known as a novelist, not for his poetry. I like this one because the imagery in it is striking to me. The metallic taste of a siren cutting through the hot summer air. That, by the way, does keep the syllable structure because Richard Wright was writing in English. I like the phrasing, the metallic taste. Yeah, the metallic taste. Yeah, 3 syllables in metallic. Taste of a siren cutting through the hot summer air. Something that I didn't really explain in the video, sorry, Dolly Parton didn't really explain in the video, is what a syllable is. And some of you guys are going to roll your eyes at the fact that I'm doing this, but let me tell you. A syllable is the number of distinct vowel sounds in a word. That's how to measure it. So the word watermelon, has 4 different vowel sounds. A in water, in water, in melon, and or in melon. Yeah, so watermelon. 4 syllables. But yeah, the metallic taste of a siren cutting through the hot summer air is an image that I like because it just reminds me of, whoa, those summer nights, and it's dark out, maybe you're lying in bed and you just hear this police siren cutting through the air over the silence or the cicadas, and it's just a nice image of kind of a contemplative moment. Okay. For these questions, you're only going to be able to answer 1 and 3 because the other 2 are about a poet that I did not show you. So you're going to be answering 1, what image in these haiku did you find most striking and why? Again, similar to the older haiku poets, just give me something. And then 3, you're going to be reacting solely to like how those poems represent the seasons, which again is a feature of traditional haiku. They even have some suggestions here using the old poems. That's fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. That's your homework for tonight. It'll be posted on Google Classroom and Planbook, and I will see you guys very soon through Zoom. I'm excited to get started returning to some normalcy. All right. Bye, everybody.